Welcome back onto this big story. The High Court in Pretoria having ordered President Cyril Ramaphosa to appoint an investigative committee to probe and provide a report into allegations that the identification of King Misuzulu was not done in terms of customary laws and customs. This is contained in the judgment handed down yesterday. For more on this, let's bring in Contralesa President Kgosi Mathupa Mokoena. Kgosi, good morning to you. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Morning, Naledi, and thanks for having me, Madi.
We really do appreciate it. Talk to us about your initial reaction, of course, as Contralesa, having heard that ruling from the High Court yesterday.
Naledi, on behalf of Contralesa, we want to note the judgment by the High Court and say it is so unfortunate because we tried talking to Parliament that in the TKLA, let's have a clause or that legislation that will say there must be levels on how to address disputes in royal families when it comes to succession. But unfortunately, as a norm, they brushed it aside. It's gathering dust as we speak. It's not even included in this legislation that is there now. We are saying as Contralesa, we just hope the family will come together and sit down, that they resolve this matter in terms of our culture and tradition. Because if we don't do that, it's a trend where succession in royal families will be decided by a court of law. And to make matters worse, Roman Dutch law, not even African customary legislations. That's our stance, madam. We're saying it's a pity people couldn't listen when we advised according to say, let's have a way of resolving disputes in our African way. But the Parliament couldn't listen to us. That's where we are now.
I mean, it's an interesting point because you talk about how Parliament could have assisted then, but perhaps a really good place to start would be then what the rightful way in terms of customs would be then in appointing a king. I mean, essentially the court has said that they've used the Leadership Act and said that there must be an investigation into whether or not the king was appointed according to that act. But according to customs, how are or were things supposed to be done in your view?
According to customs, there will be no confusion as to who will be the successor because there are elders, the aunts and rangwanis who are there in any royal family. That the ones, when things are like this, they will sit down and call all relevant houses that are capable of identifying who will be the successor. When that happens, no one will dispute because the owners of the property, if there's any that does not agree to what elders are saying, there are upper levels. Those upper levels, you go to the senior elders who are the encyclopedia of that particular traditional authority or royal family. They are the ones who must decide what must happen. Courts will be the last thing, maybe after 7 levels have been tried. But in this case, we're surprised and we wonder whether there are those elders who are able to command the respect by all the houses to say when these elders or when these senior citizens in the royal family say this, all of us have to respect it. I don't think there's anyone these days, not only here in the Zulu kingship only, in all traditional authorities, that's what we're experiencing. Because you go to all provinces, these disputes are so many, Naledi, and up until Parliament and government come to us as the owners and custodians of this practice to say, how can we conduct these things? These disputes will be minimized or will be done away with, Naledi.
Is that to say that Contralesa's view is that then the courts in a democratic South Africa should simply not intervene at all in issues of traditional leadership? I mean, is that the view of Contralesa?
Contralesa is saying the mess was done during Codesa. We advise them that the issue of traditional leadership, let them be given their space to run its course. Within the constitution, yes. Unfortunately, that was brushed aside. We are saying anyone in the country has got the right to approve, but if you feel aggrieved, we can really be stupid about it. We agree anyone with access to our court. They really preside over customary issues. The answer is no. And we said, unless and until we recognize African traditional practices, this country will continue resolving issues that needs our culture. They'll go through the Roman Dutch law. People who don't even have even any knowledge of how things are done, they will simply go to the book, read the act, and practice it and pronounce based on that. But that's Contralesa. We're making a call to our government, say, let's sit down and see how can we assist this practice so that it does not lose its trend and it be diverted into a Roman Dutch law instead of customary African law.
Okay. Again, according to Contralesa, is King Misuzulu at this point the rightful king of the AmaZulu nation?
Contralesa, we are always very careful not to tremble into the cultures of other traditional authorities or kingships. We are saying it's only the family, the royal family, who can declare whether he is still the king or not the king. But as Contralesa, our concern is that let's try by all means to assist these royal families so that they follow their customary practices as it was done a long time ago. But as of now, as Contralesa, there's no way we can really declare openly to say His Majesty King Misuzulu is no more a king or is a king. That one is a terrain that is best placed to the royal family. Nalit.
Yeah. Then can you talk to us about what advice then you would give to the AmaZulu royal nation at this time, as Contralesa, advice that you would give them on how to move forward?
If we were given a space, definitely we'll come closer to that space. We'll make sure that we meet all the relevant houses to get their point of view. I can tell you, Lady, if that space is opened, we can bring them together. But we're not saying we are champions who are, and what we can do with the assistance of our colleagues, traditional leaders in KwaZulu-Natal, and even senior royal family members in that space. If that space is given to us, we can do it. But if government feels they can just continue and do whatever, there will be no reconciliation in that kingdom until and unless all houses are brought together to resolve this matter amicably. But as Contralesa will remain ready. If we are opted in, definitely we'll make some contribution so that this matter is resolved finally.
All right, let's leave it there. We really do appreciate your time. Contralesa President there, His Royal Highness Kgosi Mathupa Mokoena, speaking to us.